G'day legends, James Greenges from Emergent Leaders Foundation. So I've been thrown a massive question by a young person. How do I become motivated, hardworking, and let go of the self-hate cycle? Pretty damn huge. From the outset, there ain't no panacea, there's no magic pill. This is something in which a person's have worked themselves into, so they've got to work themselves out. There is no individual one answer. What works for one person may not work for another person. There are some general trends, and I'll talk to it. I'll talk to them by also breaking down the three aspects to the question: motivation, hard work, and the self-hate cycle. So firstly, let's just have a look at hard work. Be very careful of hard work. Very, very careful of it. And this is coming from an ex-military officer. I've done a lot of work on myself, but I've worked with a lot of high-performance people. And what more often than not comes about is hard work actually is simply working for the sake of doing more work, and is not effective and efficient. When a person truly achieves something, they generally will go into a place of interest and flow and follow that passion. And that means the energy comes through them and they're able to achieve a hell of a lot more. Why? Their interest is there, which means their ability to actually go over the skill set or get right into the job, etc., to develop mastery of it is far higher. So there is a key aspect. Be very careful of this term hard work. Just because you're not doing something doesn't mean to say you're doing nothing. There's a huge thing about this. If you want to look into a philosophical way of looking at it, the Taoists use a term called Wu Wei, which means the art of non-doing. I'll leave that one there. All I'm going to say is be very careful if anyone tells you to get off your ass and do hard work. Two things to that. Firstly, you could be needing to get off your ass, but secondly, hard work, be smart, work smart. That's the whole point. So, motivation and the self-hate cycle. Well, let's talk about the self-hate cycle first, because one of the reasons why you lack motivation is probably because of the self-hate cycle. Yep. So, what will often have happened is someone has been traumatized in some way, shape or form to develop a low opinion of their own self, low self-worth. Self-hate is because of a whole big belief system that I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, and I've been rejected from my tribe. I don't fit in anywhere. So they're the three, mind you, they're the three core psychological wounds anyone will have. What do we do about self-hate though? The thing is, self-hate runs in a movie. You know it yourself. You get into this mood where the mind movie just rolls, and I can't do anything. I'm just shit at this. No one wants to. They even looked at me. You see the way they look at me? Of course, yeah. They were just thinking how stupid I am. I look crap in this thing. It doesn't matter what anyone does. I will gather evidence to prove that what they are doing is dissing me. They are showing me that I'm not enough. So someone could actually be trying to help you out, but you will push them away because of this self-hatred inside. Now, the only person who can stop that is you. Matter of fact, what so often happens in this place is we establish a whole heap of enablers. A whole heap of people that are around us that we use to enable us to stay stuck. Now, I know this is probably not what you want to hear. However, so often it comes down to this point where when's enough enough? When am I willing to actually make the choice to stop the mind movie, to actually listen to my anxiety? If you've got anxiety, stop trying to run from it. Sit. Give it a name. Breathe. Breathe through the nose, go right into it, and actually give it a name. And allow yourself to feel the feeling. The feeling will not kill you. The inability to feel will result in you taking your own life. That is why suicide occurs. Because we either numb ourselves or we're in too much pain, so we take our own life. I know. I've been on the precipice of that. The key to moving through anxiety or any other form of this emotional turbulence is actually going through the emotion. You can do it. Get someone who knows what they're talking about and actually can guide you through it. That does not mean necessarily a psychologist. A lot of psychologists do not have an understanding of emotional literacy. Some do, a lot do. But be very, very critical about who you allow into your trust circle. Yeah? And make sure in your heart you feel that that person can help you. It's imperative. Otherwise you will not want to move forward because you will not open up. So we need to let go of these enablers. How do I... Some of you are going, how do I know if they're an enabler? Well, more often than not, you actually know. More often than not, you know that that person just keeps doing those things for you that just allow you to keep being stuck. We've trained these people. We know quite regularly when we're using manipulative techniques. And I'm talking straight. Because when you're in a really flat place, if you don't own your shit, if you don't own it to a true deep level, you ain't getting out of there. There's no pill or anything that will get you out of there. What pill will do is numb your feelings. And that is a guaranteed flat line in life. Yep. If you want to come back to being motivated, etc., you're going to have to go do this work inside to release the need for anything like a pill, etc., so that you can actually breed yourself a routine to get back into life. So a couple of things to help with this. Firstly, let go of blaming. To have a look at how many people in life you blame. How do I do this? Coming back to understand that, firstly, if I'm going to blame, it's going to disempower myself because it's not changing the situation. It was their fault. It was their fault. No. If it's someone else's fault, it's because I'm so afraid of actually owning my part in the situation because I've judged myself as wrong. And that's why we find ourselves in this place in the first place. So the big thing about that is to stop this self-judgment. And the self-judgment is the need to be right. Because if I'm wrong, then all of a sudden I feel guilt and shame. So guilt and shame are key aspects that we need to be able to address and go inside and actually deal with, breathe and release. When I let go of self-judgment and I realize the situation simply is, then I can allow myself to go, right, where am I? Where do I want to go? What's my next step? Remember those 3 questions. They are so amazingly powerful because they empower you in the moment to actually take action. Where am I? Where do I want to go? What's my next step? Okay, I've got a physics exam. In year 12 physics, I went back for my exam time, study time, and I got given a test exam. Now I was pretty damn good at physics, and I sat down with a test exam and I looked at it and I literally did not know a single question. And I went, holy cow, I don't know anything. What's going on? I've got literally 2 weeks before my biggest exams that I've ever faced in my life, being year 12 at the time. What the hell am I going to do? So, where am I? At the moment, it doesn't appear that I know much. Where do I want to be? I want to feel confident, capable, credible in my exam. So what do I need to do? I need to start teaching myself physics. And that's what I did. I got the textbook out and I retaught myself physics. And I actually achieved an outstanding result. Yeah, because I decided not to become overwhelmed by the situation, just to take a breath for a moment. What's in my control? My control at the moment is to get an understanding of the subject better than I had before. So pull out the manual and go to town, James, and was able to achieve the event. So 3 questions. Where am I? Where do I want to go? What's the next step? That's then when I've let go of this blame thing and I'm letting go of self-judgment. That's when I'm starting to really empower myself to move forward even more. Another key aspect is this need to be right. So many times we have this feeling that I have to be right. Or we'll even say something to a friend, a peer, a teacher or a parent, and we're just cutting them off. Now, and one of the biggest ways that this will turn up is when someone's trying to help you and you push away their help by saying, no, it just doesn't work, I've tried that before. I'll almost guarantee that you probably haven't tried exactly what they're suggesting. Or if you have, you might have done it a different way. Now, I can also understand your point of view because a lot of the time people project onto us. They think they know what's best for us. Now, that's about them, not about you. But how many times do you actually push away receiving help? There's two key aspects to this. Firstly, to become motivated, I need to actually allow myself to generate my own energy, interest, and passion. Yeah? So it comes from inside me. But at the same time, in balance to this, I must be also open to receiving from support from those around me and from the universe, etc. If I'm not able to do that, then I'll get stuck, I get bogged down, and all I see is the world coming up against me. So what is your ability to receive like? How well do you do it? How graciously do you do it? How open-mindedly do you do it? When we're in the depths of despair, it can be really, really hard to allow ourselves to see that someone else might be able to actually help us. Balance that with, you have to be able to do it yourself. You have to, in time, there's only one person who can walk. They're not going to walk for you. This journey of life that you need to walk, you've got to be the person walking it. Yep. So help must come to empower you. Just think about how to use a power tool for the first time. I have no idea how to use a power tool. Cool. The person explains what the power tool's for, firstly, and then it'll give you a demonstration of what it can actually do, and then assist you by breaking down how to actually do it. They might even help you by getting you on the power tool with their hands and helping you use it first. And then over a period of time, step back, and then say, right, once you've mastered it using it that way, have you tried this way? Because it can also do this, that, and the other. So what they're doing is they're allowing you to receive help in a way which is stepping you up through your capability to a point where you're confident, capable, and credible to use this power tool in a multiple different ways. Life's the same. Life is the same. So surround yourself with people that have this philosophy. You might say, James, I don't have people like that in my life. Well, there again is me saying that the life's against me, and anything you say, I'm not going to receive it. It's up to me to find my support network. No one else. Yeah? And I go back to that point about receiving. I, for so long, closed off to people in my trauma. I closed off to people saying, no, you don't really know what you're talking about. Later to come back and find out, well, hold on a minute. They had a bit more knowledge and a few other things I probably could have dealt with way back then. It would have meant that my trajectory out of where I was a lot faster. So, they're really key aspects. Let go of blaming everyone else. Understand we control our three things, our thoughts, our words, our deeds, and we act by that. We let go of the need to self-judge, and we let go of this need to be right. When that happens, stopping these enablers, stop training these enablers to keep enabling us to be stuck. When we do all that, we can then move into some self-nurturing practices. Now, what I recommend is that every day you do something to prove to yourself that you might just be okay. Initially, that's what might it be. I might be just okay. And then, how can I do that? Well, firstly, gratitude journal. When you go into a state of gratitude, which is actually a heart state, not a brain state, what actually happens is your brain is entrained to your heart space, and you hit a thing called heart coherence, and it shuts down the neural complex that generates fear within your brain. Pretty damn amazing thing called gratitude. So what I did is I had a journal beside my bed, and then every night before I went to sleep, 6 things I was grateful for. Now initially those 6 things had to be about the rest of the world, because I couldn't actually be grateful about myself. That's how bad self-loathing I had. But over time I then went to 3 things that were about the rest of the world, and then 3 things that were about me. And at times, I was scratching. I'm glad that I can still breathe. And at times that I wasn't even glad that I could breathe. So I had to look at other things. I kept doing it every day, and more I had better days where all of a sudden I could find them really, really easily, and I could then sit in that gratitude feeling. Yeah. So very importantly, get into gratitude. Secondly, one of the reasons why we lack motivation is we have no direction, and we look to other people to provide it for a direction. One of the reasons why society is collapsing in a heap at the moment with adverse mental conditions being at an all-time high is because everyone is looking to everyone else to set their own direction. They're looking for businesses or organisations or jobs to set direction for them. Then they come home from the job and they look for someone else in the family to set the direction for them. And what happens is that creates stagnation inside. It creates this feeling that I can't do it myself. So get into understanding yourself. Get into understanding what you really like and start to follow your passions and your interests. Now this might go against what the school system says. You might struggle with this, but I'm here to suggest that I'm more interested in your well-being than I am in a system which attempts to cope with every single person the same way. That's the school system. So I personally have 2 daughters. One schools herself at home and the other one goes to school. Now they've chosen 2 different mediums to educate themselves. The thing is, their number one goal is to be educated, is not to go to school. That's not their goal, or it's not one of them's goal. It can't be. School is simply a medium to get something. So if you're currently at school and you're not feeling like you're learning, you're feeling like your interests aren't being nurtured, etc., and you're feeling really demotivated, sit down with your parents and guardians, have a big conversation about this, because you need a strategy to allow yourself to ignite inside. If not, then simply what's going to happen is you're going to start doing life by rote. It's going to become mechanical. You will never be fully motivated. You'll never be truly inspired, and you'll simply live a standard. Well, you'll simply live an unmotivated life. Standard's not the right word. So, and that calls for big time. That's a big call to sit down and actually have a look in detail about what's going on in your life. And if you did that with some of your parents, I'm going to guarantee the parents will start scratching their heads and start looking at themselves as well. And that's actually a really, really good thing. Because I work with both young people and I work with older people. And funnily enough, quite regularly, they're both talking the same problem. They just haven't sat down and given themselves time to actually work out who they really are, what they really value, and how they want to express themselves in the world. Yeah? And you can't be motivated if you don't understand that. Just think about it. When a young boy gets asked to do something, if he doesn't know why he's doing it, what's his motivation? What's his probability of actually going to want to do what he's been told? Or what's his probability of kick back and say no? If he's a goody two-shoes, he'll say yes simply because he wants approval. But if he's actually balancing himself in any way, shape or form, he'll go, why? Well, it's the same with life. If you don't understand why you're living life, what the hell motivation or inspiration will you have to actually live it? So it's really, really critical. Understand who you are, outside, body, physique, shape. It's all immature. It's all an immature psychology. Now, as a young person, you will go through that because as a teenager, that's your job. Yeah? Your job is to actually work out how to live with this body and everything in this world. Yeah? So you're going to have to get used to it, but then there's a critical juncture where you turn around and you say, okay, I know inside who I am. I know inside how beautiful I am as a person. I don't need anyone else to tell me. And you know that you've hit maturity when you get to that point. Now, a lot of people never get there. Just look at the tabloids. Look at the glossy magazines. Look at social media. So, the big thing is if you want to move out of this place of self-hatred, you want to get into a motivated space to work efficiently and productively, then you've got to understand who you are, you've got to know your passions, and you've got to allow yourself to go and live them. I trust that's been worth it. It's been a shed tin in it. But if you can digest what I've said and you can make the choice, because in the end, to get out of a stuck place, it comes down to your choice. Do you actually want to make the choice? Or are you getting everything you want by being stuck? In time, that won't work. And if you're watching this video and you've come to this part in the video, it's not working already. So it's now up to you to build that support network, to actually let go of the enablers who've helped you be stuck, to decide that you're going to do something different, to work out where you are, where you want to go, and what's the next step, to understand who you are, what you truly value, what you're really interested in, and develop a plan to start living that on a daily basis by being grateful for who you are and what you have around you, and by taking those steps in line with your interest. Much love.